And I know it's a long way off, but it doesn't hurt to be thinking about the final assignment. Kelly, this one is for you. No, it's for everybody. Just from the perspective that your other assignments will hopefully build towards it. I mean, that is the intention, or my intention for the course, is that what you do in your PowerPoint, what you do for annotating the website, the SOTL annotations, and what you do for your final all link together. So you're really building that final piece as you go through the course. Um, when I do, and I've done lots of these where I get hired as a consultant to pull together some literature. For example, some of you were in a class this last term where I was showing some work I did for Niagara College about how they might design a course for mid-career faculty to keep them engaged and developing their teaching skills. So when I review the literature, I have to look at the literature as data. And, it's funny because I've just posted a comment about the Redmond reading from last week and that framework that I found. I think a couple others commented it's kind of simple. But I do that. I look at the literature and I am reading about a particular topic, but I'm looking for the themes. So I was reading, for example, about reflective practice. And for the work I did for Niagara College, I think I read about 20 different things on reflective practice and looked at the themes across them and found that the way they defined it was different, or the elements they thought were important were different. And so I was able to pull out of that there were different lenses on reflective practice. And I ended up with this new framework for the college where they could say, oh, some people think of it as having a temporal element, that there's things you do at different times. And for some people, it's this. And so they were able to look at it and say, oh, okay, there's more than one way of doing that. Similarly, I had a PhD student who looked at quality assessment in higher education. And in her review of the literature, she found that there were a number of ways of defining quality, and that managers, and this is what she went and, or administrators, she researched the ways different administrators defined quality, because the way they defined it, whether it was for improvement as opposed to for oh, I can't remember what all of the pieces were. One was it about improving, another one was it about kind of, I guess, what we would call box ticking. Um, the way they defined it obviously affected the way they would set up their quality assurance processes in their institution. So as you think about the literature for the final piece, I would encourage you to sort of take a step back and think about not just what am I reading about the topic that's informative, but what kinds of other themes am I seeing? And make a note of those, because that's the kind of piece that you'll be able to put those themes together into a framework, maybe using SmartArt towards the end, and that will give you an original contribution that will be able to go, oh, wow, that's really cool. And you might actually get hired somewhere on that. I know most of you have jobs, but anyway, it's a cool thing to be able to do.